For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you a bit of a review video on a product from Zempire. So with me here today I have the Zempire Fortress V2 model. So the Fortress has been kind of in Zempire's collection for a number of years now. And they almost do sort of, we call it two versions of it. So you've got the Fortress itself, or there is also the AirForce, which is almost like a smaller, slightly shorter and thinner version in comparison to. So this pretty much sits at the pinnacle of Zempire's collection, along with the Delta Force, which is like a vis-a-vis style one. Now, first thing I'll say, this tent isn't for the faint-hearted. It's for someone who wants the creme de la creme, the Rolls Royce of what I think, and it's probably more maybe from a New Zealand point of view, probably their sort of seasonal tents versus kind of what you get in the UK. But if you want something that is, like I say, top of the range and not diminish on anything, this is what you're looking at. So first and foremost, we're looking at probably like a proper real nice kind of canvas feel frame, kind of fabric. You've almost got, it's beefed up to the max in every single level. You know, when you speak to the guys at Zempire, what they first thing say, it's bomb proof, and you can definitely see that. And you kind of hope it would be that point, to be fair, considering the price of it. So we'll run through the feature. We've got a really great dual skin roof, which about 420 grams per square meter. It's a really nice sort of kind of canvas-like material that you'll notice it on. You can go in there on a very warm day, and because you've got almost like double glazing kind of effect that you get normally with like an inner tent, on a cold day it's a hell of a lot warmer inside, and on a warm day it's a lot cooler as well. And you can, there's no real way of, apart from the feel of it, you can sort of generally feel that, and it's built basically to last. To give you a bit more of a in-depth concept, New Zealanders most of the time, which they'll probably account to, is a lot of them will have this up for 8 months of the year, and you know that's kind of what it is, and they have it for years and years and years. It's one of those things that you pass on to the next generation. It lasts that long, and that's relevant in kind of what you get, but also the quality throughout of it has to also hit that high level and high expectations. And to be fair, it does, and everything in terms of the design, it does. So it's inflatable. This is the V2 version, so it's completely inflatable, whereas the normal version had a the steel frame on the main part of it. So this is completely air all the way through, really nice and strong. A single inflation point to pump it up, so you can pump it up directly from here. For me, you get a manual pump supply with it, but it's maybe worth as a backup, but really for what you want it to be is actually use an electric pump, press a button, let it inflate, and it does it all for you, and then you can regulate to the correct pressure, and once you get the right pressure, it is an absolute rock. You've also got multiple deflation points along the bottom as well, so you can actually open a tap and allow the air to go out, so it makes it a lot easier to put back away. Because it is such a high spec, and you know it's a very big size, naturally the pack size and pack weight does mean it's on a larger scale of things. So this one here, the Fortress, you're looking around the region about 75 kilograms. If you went for the AirForce, which is 60 centimeters short in the width, 90 centimeters shorter in length, you're looking around about 60 kilograms, 63 I think from memory. So they are big lumps, and the pack sizes are quite large. But then again, it's all necessarily reinforced, it's regenerated for it. You've got this really nice oversized, and I mean very oversized bag with a really big massive opening to make sure you have no issues getting it back in there. Really kind of like reinforced every point. Double carry handles, so you can just lift it into the back of the car and away to go. And again, heavy duty zips. But again, and then you've got a really, again, solid metal buckles on there, so you can really clamp it down and try and reduce the pack size like you would with kind of a bout or anything like that. So again, that works really nicely. To pitch, it's actually remarkably really easy. All you're going to really do is peg kind of what I call the main 6 corners. So the back 2, the front 2 here, and then the front 2 of the canopy. Put the electric pump on, which you buy as an extra. Press go, corrects up to the pressure. You're good to go. You might have to basically help it inside just to make sure it's positioned correctly. But apart from that, once it's up, it's up. Oversized guide points surrounded it all just to give it a bit more belts and braces. You're going to stop the actual shape of it from distorting at all. Because of the single point inflation, it obviously goes up easy, and then when you go inside, you've got isolation taps on every single part. So that means if you did have an issue, it's then isolated from each individual bit. A very big area, and they kind of really call it an 8-berth, but to be fair, it'd be definitely more of an extremely comfy 4, because the bedroom section at the back here, you've got the option essentially in the Fortress anyway, you're looking around about 220 by 250, which is going to be, and because it's very boxy, it feels massive in there, and there's a divider which we'll come to look at later. It's worth, you can buy a sunroom to go on either the AirForce or the Fortress, which basically enclose the front of that if you wanted to. And because you've got a double skin part, really, again, this could be, you could sleep a scout group in here throughout the whole of it if you really wanted to. Hell of a purchase for a scout group, but if that's the option. But that's where New Zealand, as I say, you can sleep pretty much anywhere in it. Side panels zip on, and it creates that bit more of enclosure. Comes included with a ground sheet when you buy the Elite, well, the sunroom itself, the Elite for the Force, and I'm pretty sure it's then the compact version from memory for the AirForce. So really nice and strong. Oversized beams, about 13 centimeter diameter tube, so really, again, belts and braces, webbing storm straps so you can get a real good amount of tension onto it. But naturally, in the way it sits, because you've got bracing beams on the side as well as the roof, it almost sort of stands alone to a certain degree. And then on the pegging points down the bottom, what you find is you've got proper steel eyelets to go through, and then additional webbing tensions as well, just to make sure you've got a little bit more play in it. When we come into the sort of, I'm going to call it the main living area or sleeping area, the secondary sleeping area if you wanted to, these side panels here can roll fully up if you wanted to as well. Fair that you can also kind of gull wing them out, so you can buy additional steel upright poles come as standard with it. And when you look at that, even like the Velcro is looking about a massive mark, so it's really to make sure it's properly sealed all the way along. But you can basically additional some king poles which come supplied. Then means you can almost have a bit more shelter on either side. So you can do this on both sides. I'm pretty sure you can do it with the extra sunroom as well. Like I said, what you're failing at, you can roll that up fully if you want to have it kind of completely open like the front of the sit. Again, metal class on even the retaining points that go up. And the window here, you've got a sort of really nice tinted PVC window at the front. And then down the bottom, you've then got a mesh window, so you have again that airflow, but you can just feel the weight of that, how thick that is, and again how much kind of durability that's going to give you. But naturally, on a day like today when it's very warm inside the tent, it's going to be a lot more comfortable in there, certainly with the airflow. And because again it's more designed for New Zealand, it's designed for the hotter summers in the UK and colder winters, so it's, yeah, really, really well thought out. We've also got mentioned, like I said, you've got a full mesh part when you get to the bedroom section here, as it naturally kind of curves up. You've got the airflow, so you have a circulation of air directly in it. At the back, we could come to that in a second, there is almost like a window gusset. So it's basically like, it allows you to bring the back window panel out to have airflow directly in and into it as well. But I'll tell you what, let's pick the camera up, we'll go inside, and we'll talk through a load more features that the Fortress has in its offering. So when we come to kind of the front door scenario here, you can see obviously how kind of it opens up, and it sort of tends to go from well, left to right as I look at, or right to left as you see. So you can open it up, you've got a full mesh part built into that as well. Same with this side here, and it's kind of there what they classify their 360 door. So you can have a little bit of airflow coming directly through from the creative veranda, or fully drop it down, and it rolls itself into a little bottom down the bottom. And even then you've got an additional mesh part located there, so you have a full mesh point. So it is almost going to be like a massive kind of well, a mesh tent to a certain degree. Again, oversized zips in here works really well. You've got the ability of a kind of to lock the actual inside of the tent up. So what you've got is in here there is a little kind of metal clasp that allows you to connect onto the zip to stop anyone then pulling it from the outside in, which again is quite a unique feature. And you know, well, it's a good bit of kit if it's got its own option of a lock part to it. Thing like what we can do is roll this fully back, so then bring the outside fully in. Like I said, when you buy the additional kind of sunroof, what that's going to allow you to do is actually create this as one big, fully open space. So we're just going to tuck that back for the time being. A nice low lip into the main part of the tent, and I'll move the bag out the way a bit. And then you've got this really nice, strong, robust kind of tarp material. So it's again a really nice thick gauge that comes naturally into it. So great internal space, headroom height, massive. And then into the sides here again, plenty of room. And because you've got a very sort of solid upright wall, it feels spacious. Storage pockets located by the side here as well, so you can declutter the main part of the tent. Cable entry points located at the front here as well, so you have your mains hookup inside the tent when you wanted to. And then you move on into kind of the main sort of sleeping compartment. Now, most people probably would actually have this as, like I said, well, it's more than enough for probably 3, really classified 2 and a 2, but a lot of them, people will actually sleep in here. And like I said, when you buy the sunroom, you can even sleep in there. It's to that sort of, you know, option. A top vent located up here increases airflow. There's a hanging point here with a Velcro, so you have a lantern hanging from that point, and then Velcro tabs running down to your cable entry point to come nicely in. When we come to the bedroom section, you've got the bedroom part itself, which is sort of pre-stitched in there, but you can kind of sort of unroll it to the center. And again, even that is a really nice sort of thick weight of material with your metal clasp and then your toggle parts. Divider comes as standard included with it as well. The bedroom for the front section here would be additional, but you can get it. And it clips in place, and you've got I'll say it's more of a screen, but it's got Velcro solidly down the sides to give that sort of level of privacy from inside to the out. More storage pockets like we have here into the bedroom section, and these ventilation points obviously open up, and again you can do this from inside, so you haven't got to go outside when the weather does turn. You've got a rear gusset along the back here as well, which works really quite smartly. Velcroed along the bottom as well, and again it's a really nice thick Velcro to kind of keep it all intact. But it's even just the small details like the reinforcement you can see in fact, let's get the camera. The reinforcement you can see kind of in the corners where the beams are to make sure it all sort of sits bang up where it needs to be. But it does feel like a safari tent, and to be fair, it kind of is, you know, exactly what it's sort of almost designed for. So there's the reinforcements down the bottom, you can see that. But beautiful bit of kit. And you've got obviously the storage pockets, as we mentioned, and open up, like I said, you've got a really nice canopy. It feels like a house. But cable entry point located at the top there next to the point there. You've got additional straps if you want to run cables directly through at the front. Dividers, as mentioned previously, so you can see how kind of dark it is in here during a midday point of 33-degree heats. So really nice kind of bit of privacy there, a little bit of storage pockets, and then allow more light to come directly through. So you can still get a bit of visibility out with that kind of blind, or get the, but it's the thickness of the canvas as well, like I said, which means it's going to last and last and last. But that is a big old bedroom space you can see there. More than happily have a couple of camp beds in there. I think, arguably, to be honest, you could even sleep from sort of left to right, and probably get at least 4, probably 2 double air beds in there if you really want. So you probably could crowd 8 into there and sleep 12 more into here if you wanted to. But so you've got the roof beams, the side beams, you've got the little kind of extra Velcro points that's reinforced, again, oversized pad to make sure it doesn't slip anywhere. There's the isolation taps, so we've got, so you can actually isolate it off to make sure all of it is individual to one another. But again, like I said, all on the top. So overall, it's a hell of a tent, you know, and naturally, you get an awful lot of tent here. Naturally, you do pay for that because it's just top quality, and there's nothing really else like it on the margin. And to put things in perspective, certainly for the UK, Zempire's almost, we'll call it their middle range collection, is the top of what other brands will do. So it's not very, you don't really see this from anywhere else apart from the likes, well, nothing in air. You know, it's on that sort of same sort of I think it's DeWalt kind of range, that sort of level, but on a different, much more easier to pitch concept, albeit like a slightly bigger kind of pack size really. So, but no, generally it's an impressive bit of kit. it's not. To be fair, it's not going to be. It's for a very small amount of people. Certainly more for the UK market. New Zealand, it's massive. You know, it's probably one of the biggest selling lines they do. Zempire as a company, just because it ticks the box. But you can then pick and choose what you want. So if you like this design, brilliant. If you want something a bit more smaller, I think certainly for the UK, it was a bit more commercially from the price point of view, but from a size point of view anyway. I think the AirForce is probably the better. Certainly the V2 with the new inflatable front extension panels, I should say. That works well. Or if you want that kind of vis-a-vis, the granddaddy of the Delta Force, then by all means have a look. It's something we do list on our website, so if you are interested in purchasing it, you can always buy it from us as a UK retailer. But naturally, you know, what we tend to do is essentially get them sort of ordered and shipped directly from kind of to you, just because it's not for everyone. It's a very, very niche product. We probably won't stock hold it, but we will have the ability. You can buy it through a retailer like ourselves. And if you want more information on this or any of the other kind of canvas range, as they call it, you can check the link below this video, take you straight through to our website. We have all information on tech spec details, information, pack sizes, weights, floor dimensions. You can see everything you need to know there. But by all means, let us know what you think. It's a hell of a beast, and I love it. Yeah, there's nothing like it around, and I think we are, with the prices of the rest of the tent range increasing, we are getting closer to this kind of spec and level, but not to the kind of the quality that is really. So, but yeah, like I said, thank you for watching. Any more questions, feel free to come back to us. We'd love to hear what you see and think about this kind of range of products. But that's our video review on the bomb-proof Zempire Fortress V2 version, and of course also the AirForce V2 as well.